Just Cause is a strange series. It was initially pitched as one thing, but has since turned into something else entirely. The first game launched in 2006 as a fairly mundane open-world action game with a focus on both air and ground vehicles. Things changed in the sequel as the development team discovered the fun of playing with physics, and it's just continued down that path ever since. The big change for Just Cause 4 from 2018 is dynamic weather. Toys can be fun, but some players prefer a little more structure in the sandbox. It was added to Game Pass just a few weeks ago, so let's find out if Just Cause 4 is a game pass or a game fail. Just Cause 4 gets off to a rocky start. After a short tutorial, you're thrown into the world with no sense of direction other than take out the bad guys. The first real mission has you riding in the back of a truck while defending it. It seems impossible with the limited ammo you start out with, and the poor truck pathfinding makes it even more so.
Hear that? I think the truck is having problems.
Eventually, you figure out that shooting a vehicle's tires will make it flip and explode, but the game does a terrible job of introducing anything meaningful to the player. Just Cause 4's big hook is its movement system. The grappling hook allows you to quickly navigate any terrain. Coupled with the parachute or wingsuit, it provides for a lot of aerial mobility. There's a high skill ceiling in doing it efficiently, so there's a lot of room to improve and grow as the player. If you get airsick, there are plenty of traditional vehicles to commandeer at will.
That's it for that passenger.
Other than the movement, the gameplay is rather bland. Gun selection is limited, and while each has a secondary fire option, it's mostly just a way to make sure each gun can make stuff explode. Enemy types are also anemic, and while some are tougher than others, they all die with a single explosive shot. They don't pose much of a threat in the early game. Health regeneration is a bit too generous, so if you can find a piece of cover, it's almost impossible to die. It has some warts, but easily the biggest issue with Just Cause 4 is its aimless progression. The ultimate goal is to destroy the enemy to inspire your allies.
I think we just started a rebellion.
It allows you to move the battle lines and claim more territory for your just cause. But other than unlocking fast travel points and mission objectives, it all feels rather pointless. You'll steal an enemy warship or rescue prisoners, but we've done this in so many other games before. Upgrading the grapple hook provides more interesting objectives like starring in a movie or uncovering ancient relics, but the progression line for these quests also lacks clarity.
Hey, and that's our cue!
We've intentionally put off discussing the game's story for a reason. It's just completely forgettable. The bad guys are part of a private army known as the Black Hand, and their leader can control the weather because of some tech-driven gobbledygook. You must recruit citizens into your army of chaos and try and stop him.
Create more chaos. More recruits will come. A whole army of chaos.
You'll play multiple, forgettable missions in a row before 5 minutes of exposition are dumped into your lap. It can be hard to keep your eyes from glazing over.
Why are you doing this?
The extreme weather also takes far too long to make an appearance. A sandbox game doesn't necessarily need an epic story, but it shouldn't be bland either. We just covered a sandbox game a couple episodes ago, so most of the same comps still apply. It's a shrinking genre since many franchises have included RPG elements in their recent installments. Grand Theft Auto V is still the crown jewel, and it's a standout for Game Pass on console. But based on its sales numbers, the vast majority of you have already played it, and maybe more than once. State of Decay 2 adds co-op and zombies to the mix. It also includes extensive survival elements, if that's your thing. Rage 2 is a first-person shooter, but it's also a game that's just fun to fiddle around with. Crackdown 3 is hard to recommend in any situation, unless you're the world's biggest Terry Crews fan. Even then, it can feel ancient and hard to recommend. Then, there's Destroy All Humans. It's relatively simple considering its age, but we actually enjoy its more streamlined approach. Now it's time to find out, is Just Cause 4 a game pass or a game fail? Just Cause 4 has a ton of content, and it's a gigantic game. We've only explored a fraction of the map, and there's plenty more to uncover. It brings up the question of how much of a bland thing is a bad thing. It's competent, but it's more fun for players who just want to set up stunts or challenges than those who try to plow through its stockpile of rote missions. There are plenty of viable comps to turn you away, and Just Cause 4 just isn't the right kind of game for Game Pass. It starts slow and confusing before settling into a repetitious pattern. 100 hours of slow burn may make sense for a $60 purchase, but there are too many worthy alternatives on the service to recommend such a big commitment. There's simply no need to settle for mediocrity if you're looking for a fun sandbox game on Game Pass. Just Cause 4 is a game fail. For the next episode, we'll tackle Worms, WMD.